A mayoral candidate being challenged. The saga surrounding embattled South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
Mayoral candidate will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is...
The political circus in Thornton Township and Dolton, Illinois, has reached dizzying new heights, with embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the center of what can only be described as a soap opera playing out in real time. From township shutdowns and lawsuits to federal investigations and fiery press conferences, Henyard's leadership has become a spectacle that's impossible to ignore. How did it get to this point? And why does it seem like every day brings another headline about chaos under her watch? Let's dive into the wild drama that has everyone talking.
We spoke to Henyard's spokespeople today and trustees who are calling it a ploy.
What's going on? What do we do? What do we have to do?
First, there's the township shutdown, a move that's left residents and employees scrambling for answers. On Wednesday morning, the Thornton Township building was locked up tight, with a sign on the door announcing its closure. No one knew how long it would last or what services were affected. Residents needing assistance programs, employees showing up for work, and even the township assessor all were left in the dark. One man who showed up to hand in urgent paperwork for a food assistance program was stunned to find the doors locked. "Now what?" he said, clearly frustrated. And that's the question on everyone's mind. What happens now?
Lights are off behind me, the doors are locked here, and there's a sign on the building right now that says it's closed. For how long? Neither residents nor employees know at this point.
This shutdown comes after a series of township meetings failed to reach a quorum, largely because two trustees, Carmen Carlisle and Chris Gonzalez, refused to show up. Their absence, Henyard claims, is a deliberate attempt to block her from appointing someone to a vacant trustee position, a move that would give her a tie-breaking vote on the board. Without a quorum, the township hasn't been able to renew its insurance, which Henyard says is crucial for operations. She's warned that without insurance, services for seniors and children could be suspended, and over 100 employees might face layoffs. It's hurtful to even mention the potential of layoffs, she said, adding that essential programs like transportation for seniors and after-school programs are now at risk.
Friday, but was met by this sign.
Okay, here I am, and they disappeared now.
The insurance debacle has also sparked debates about whether Henyard's administration is truly transparent with its financial planning. Critics argue that the township's financial woes are a direct result of years of unchecked spending under Henyard's leadership. Residents have pointed to the infamous $40,000 in unaccounted Amazon purchases uncovered during the limited audit of Dolton's finances as evidence of poor oversight. What else are they hiding? One resident asked during a recent town hall. Henyard, however, has brushed off these accusations, claiming that her administration inherited a fiscal mess that she's been working tirelessly to fix.
Again, no comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the general mayoral election is...
Adding fuel to the fire, some township employees have spoken anonymously about the frustration of working under such unstable conditions. "We're constantly worried about whether we'll have jobs next month," one employee said. "It feels like the residents are being used as pawns in a political chess game, and we're caught in the middle." These sentiments reflect a growing sense of unease among not just township workers, but also the residents who rely on these vital services. With no clear resolution in sight, the question remains whether Henyard's administration can regain enough stability to deliver on its promises, or if the township will continue its downward spiral.
Our job is to govern, to provide a way, provide services, and we're not doing that because they're stalling government, gridlocking it, because they can't have their way.
But Gonzalez and Carlisle see things differently. They argue that Henyard is using the insurance issue as leverage to force their hand on the trustee appointment. Carlisle called it a high school tactic, accusing Henyard of playing games with something as important as insurance. "You can't play with these things," she said. Gonzalez, meanwhile, pointed out that the township's insurance could have been renewed months ago, suggesting that the current crisis is a manufactured one. This all comes down to the dysfunction of this administration, he said, adding that the board hasn't historically been involved in insurance renewals. Both trustees requested a special meeting on Friday to address the backlog of township business, including the insurance issue, but tensions remain high.
Our hesitation is that if there's a person in there that will just say yes to everything, I mean, it will set us back.
What's more, Gonzalez and Carlisle have hinted that Henyard's insistence on tying the trustee appointment to the insurance renewal might be part of a larger strategy to consolidate control ahead of the upcoming elections. By keeping the board in a perpetual state of gridlock, Henyard could argue that her opponents are obstructing progress while simultaneously leveraging the crisis to strengthen her political narrative. The shutdown is just one chapter in this ongoing saga. Henyard's leadership has been under scrutiny for months, with allegations of financial mismanagement and lavish spending dogging her tenure as both mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township. The FBI is reportedly investigating her handling of township finances, including state grant money paid to youth programs. WGN Investigates released a scathing report detailing over $100,000 in taxpayer-funded travel and entertainment expenses, including a sparsely attended concert that cost over $85,000. And that's not all. Residents have also raised concerns about Henyard's cancer charity, which reportedly failed to account for how it spent donations.
We need some action, somebody that's actually going to do their job. How about that? Somebody that's come in, work for the people, not themselves, and have pictures all over the place.
As if that weren't enough, Henyard is also embroiled in legal battles on multiple fronts. Earlier this month, she filed a lawsuit against Thornton Township Democrats, accusing them of voter suppression after she was left off the ballot for next year's election for township supervisor. The lawsuit claims that State Senator Napoleon Harris, who chairs the township's Democratic Party, orchestrated a caucus that locked her supporters out of the venue, leaving them to stand in freezing temperatures while his allies secured nominations inside. Henyard described the caucus as a hostile takeover and vowed to fight back, calling herself the Rosa Parks of Thornton Township in a press conference. Critics, however, have labeled her claims as exaggerated, with Harris's attorney dismissing the lawsuit as garbage and pointing out that caucuses have their own rules and processes.
It's manipulation. Nobody likes being manipulated, and when you get here, you know that's exactly what's happening.
And then there's the bizarre saga of Henyard's eviction case. According to court filings, she and her boyfriend, Camel Woods, owe over $13,000 in unpaid rent and late fees for a home in Dolton. The landlord claims they last paid rent in August and even changed the locks on the property to prevent her from entering, though Woods reportedly still lives there. Henyard moved out sometime in October, raising questions about her personal and financial stability. The case has been postponed until January, but it's yet another distraction from her duties as a public official.
We were in Thornton Township today, and that main building was locked. No one was answering the main phone lines, and some services that are offered there are for electric and heating for low-income homes.
Amid all this turmoil, Henyard's relationship with the media has become increasingly combative. At a recent press conference, she invited reporters into a cramped, vacant office, only to later have her food pantry manager inform them that she wouldn't speak to bloggers or certain local newspapers. Burgundy Blue, a YouTuber covering the event, was asked to leave, along with representatives from the Lansing Journal and the Harvey World Herald. This selective approach to media access has drawn sharp criticism, with many accusing Henyard of suppressing free speech and transparency.
It's shut down, and that is why the building is closed.
Well, we were advised by the attorneys to close the building. The building shouldn't be open. The risk is great.
The fallout from these antics has been swift, with residents and commentators expressing frustration over the state of leadership in Dolton and Thornton Township. How is this woman not in prison by now? One commenter asked on a YouTube video discussing the latest developments. Another wrote, "So tired of hearing about her. Can't they just get her out of there? How can she hold the township hostage like this? I thought she was in jail already." These sentiments echo a growing sense of disillusionment among residents, many of whom feel that the ongoing drama is a distraction from the real issues facing their community. Henyard, for her part, has remained defiant, announcing her re-election bid for mayor of Dolton in a social media post earlier this year. She described her campaign as a chance to be the change that is needed for the Southland, though critics argue that her leadership has brought more chaos than change. Senior trustee Jason House, who is challenging her for the mayoral seat, has vowed to prioritize ethics reform and restore trust in local government if elected. Our focus should remain where it matters most, on addressing the pressing needs of our community and delivering real solutions for the people we serve, he said in a statement. As the February primary and April general election approach, the stakes couldn't be higher. Henyard's challengers, including House and Cassandra Hobson-Jordan, have positioned themselves as reformers ready to clean up the mess left by her administration. Hobson-Jordan, who overcame a legal challenge from one of Henyard's allies to secure her place on the ballot, described the current state of affairs as about democracy and hypocrisy. Her attorney, Pericles Abbasi, echoed this sentiment, calling the legal challenges against her very hypocritical.
Well, she's one of the most recognizable faces that's been on the news lately. I'm talking about the mayor of Dolton, Tiffany Henyard.
And all of social media.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, residents are left to wonder how much longer this political circus will continue. With township services in jeopardy, employees facing layoffs, and federal investigators circling, the challenges ahead are daunting. But the bigger question remains, will voters finally demand accountability, or will the chaos persist? And what does this mean for the future of Thornton Township and Dolton? Let us know what you think. Should Tiffany Henyard step down, or does she deserve a chance to defend her record? And how do you think this ongoing drama will impact the upcoming elections? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay engaged, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.